Hello Leo, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about narcissistic tarot reading, and I also wanted to mention that Mercury retrograde is coming at the end of the month. If you're not familiar with what Mercury retrograde is, I'll be sure to make a video about it. But basically it's going to cause some issues with communications. And you should start feeling the slight effects of it around January 15th. So, just be careful what you say and how you take things that are being said to you. Don't take anything out of context. Try not to. And let's go ahead and see what cards we've got. Okay, that's strange. So the first card that we're getting for Leo is the Leo card of Strength. This is fire signs, and this has got to do with anyone who is a very big lover of animals, animal rescue. This is a strength card. Any kind of performers that like to deal with animals. So this is the woman who is able to tame the lion. All right. So this is the maiden that controls the lion, as they call it. You never know how strong you are until it's all that you have. And that is so true. What goes up must come down. All right. So this one also has to do with inner strength and staying positive despite the mess that life has become. All right, so 2020 was really rough. I'm hoping that 2021 will be at least a little better than last year. So stay positive, and don't forget that life is what you make it, okay? So that's what's crossing you right now. You may be struggling to find the strength to tame the lion, okay? All right. For your recent past, we got the Fool card reversed. All right, so the Fool card reversed is... This one is pretty rough, okay? So basically, the Fool card is all about new beginnings, innocence, spontaneity, things of that nature. But if it's reversed, it could be a sign that you are being naive, foolish, reckless, or things of that nature. So I actually made a whole nother deck just to go along with the Fool card. If you get the Fool card, I'm going to read some of those cards to you, so you have that to look forward to. Okay. So let me see here. Nope, not that one. Let's finish the reading and I will find those cards. So basically it's just laws. All right, this one is the Nine of Swords reversed. Okay, so swords represent air signs: Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. And this one has to do with hopelessness, severe depression, torment. You may feel like you just woke up from a bad dream. So this is your immediate future. So if you're not already feeling this, I have to be honest with you, Mercury retrograde can really put a hurting on you. So just be wary of that. But also, it could be somebody else in your life that's being affected by this. Somebody that is an Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini. Okay? Your final outcome is the Nine of Pentacles, which is a safe place, but you might be feeling a little dependent on others for your happiness or for something. So you're definitely enjoying a good life, though, or pretty darn close to it, okay? You might have some things that are dragging you down, but this is talking about, like a lady who's in her garden and she's, she's working on poise and grace and restraint. and coming into your own, having everything, and refining your table. All right. So for your narcissist cards for this reading, I have redone my narcissist deck, and I've put a lot more information in it. And I just want to go ahead and say, if you don't have any really strong narcissists in your life, that especially like at work or family or friends that are narcissistic, then this is just a learning experience. Basically, you don't want to be taken advantage of by a narcissist. You don't want to be manipulated. So knowledge is power. Alright, so for your first narcissist card, we've got the narcissistic mother. Alright, so even if you don't have this problem, this is going to go right under what's crossing you. So this might be someone else in your life who's struggling with a narcissistic mother. If you don't feel this way, if you don't feel like it's your mother, here's some of the signs though. Maybe you can help somebody else out if this doesn't apply to you. So, number 10. Okay, so first off, let's start with number 10 is criticism. So they may be quick to criticize. Number 9 is maternal antagonistic characteristics. So they might antagonize you over things that you really can't control, or things that they feel that you need to change, and you don't really feel like you need to change that. Excuse me. So number 8 is parent only advocates for the child if it benefits them. Ooh, so that's kind of rough. That means, what that's saying is that your parent who's a narcissist is only going to be worried about it if it's something that affects them. They're going to stand up for you, and they're going to do the parental right thing to do if it affects them. But if it doesn't, then they may not be there for you. All right. And then number 7 is unconcerned with the child's well-being. Okay. Number 6 is jealousy of health and relationships. Number 5 is your parent's mother may have been starved your parent for attention. So if your parent is a narcissist, then they may have been starved for attention as a child, which in turn turned them into a narcissist. All right. And this is by Dr. Grande. He made these on a video, and if you do resonate with this, feel free to go over to his channel and take a look, because he's a doctor and he is going to have a lot more to say about these, but I'm just going to go through the basics here. So number 4 is fear of rejection, and number 3 is callous and unemotional, or a lack of warmth, or even unavailability. A big sign of a narcissist is someone who ignores you when you really need them, or maybe if you get in a big fight, instead of them being there for you and trying to push through it and help you, they're just going to ignore you. So they're not going to be there and give you the emotional support that you need. All right. And number 2 is the child believes that they could never be good enough. All right. Number 1 is the narcissistic discipline, non-consistent with love or hate. So it's basically based on themselves. All right. And a quote that may sound like something that a narcissistic parent might say is, "I have sacrificed everything for you." Okay. So that's kind of like really making you feel like you should be, so thankful that they, did whatever it is that they're throwing it in your face for, which is ridiculous. Parents should never do that to you. They should never make you feel bad for anything that is their duty as a parent. You know, it's not right. Okay. All right, so for the Fool reversed in your recent past, this goes right along with, you know, being naive or allowing yourself to fall into a trap. And the Narcissist card that goes with this is control issues. So someone who is acting foolish might actually be a control freak. Someone who is narcissistic cannot handle it if they are not in control. All right, so they're going to try to control the narrative. They may be enslaved by the control issues, bound by cold-heartedness, bound by fear, and bound by the need to always be right, and bound by the inability to be wrong. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're trying to get through to somebody and they literally will just not have it, then just go ahead and recognize that you're talking to a narcissist and you're not going to be able to get through to them. And this is what you do. Instead of arguing with them, you try not to argue. Just let it go. And I know that can be difficult, but just go ahead and let it go. Another thing that you can do, this is how to react to a narcissist. Freedom is choice to walk away. So you have the freedom to walk away if someone's treating you badly, especially if they're trying to control your every whim. You don't have... Oh, okay. Another sign is if you do not have binary thinking, which means binary is ones and zeros. There's no middle ground. It's not black or white. It's never gray. Everything is either, you know, 1 or 0. There's not like... It's more like a computer program. All right? So avoid being a narcissist by being truly free. All right? Let go of control. Let go... let yourself cry. It's okay to let yourself cry and admit that you're wrong and let others win. All right, so those last 4, they can apply to yourself in trying to overcome narcissism, but it can also apply to yourself if you're a narcissist. So if you have been called out for being a narcissist and you're like, I'm not a narcissist, well, you know, be sure to apply these to yourself. You know, like don't argue, don't criticize, don't be so controlling. Let other people have some freedom too, because trust me, they're gonna get their freedom one way or another, with or without you. So okay, so we also got the Fool card, so I have to get that. This Fool card is... Let me just show you this picture. So it's a man and he's walking. And he's so close to the edge. See, there's the edge and there's the ocean. So this is a cliff. And he's got a little dog. And the dog's jumping on the back of his leg. And he's just having a grand old time. Which, upright, the Fool card is not that much of a problem. It just means that you're being spontaneous. Sometimes that can cause some troubles, though. So even spontaneity, being a good thing, can also cause troubles, especially if you're not thinking before you act. All right, so for your immediate future, this is kind of a grim card right here. We've got the 9 of Swords, and this one was reversed. So it says, you know, hopelessness, severe depression, torment, and swords, like I said, are associated with Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini. So this may not be you that's feeling this, but when someone around you is feeling like that, it's going to affect you, right? So your Narcissist card is Radical Acceptance. All right, so I wasn't really familiar with what this was when I saw this video on Dr. Ramani's page, but Radical Acceptance is whenever you have been dealing with a narcissist for a long time and you just accept them for who they are. You don't try to encourage them to change anymore. you just pull the plug on hope. There's no more hope that they're going to change, which is kind of sad, really. But some people choose radical acceptance whenever they have been through a repeated emotional, wheel of repeated narcissism. You try to help somebody, and then, especially with drugs or alcohol, something like that, and then they just continue to fall off the wagon over and over. This can be extremely hard to accept, but radical acceptance has to do with realizing that people don't always change, and accepting that the leopard can't always change its spots. All right. Well, what if you can't accept it? There's path 1, which is the one we just talked about, and then there's path 2, which means that you are not able to accept it. It says maybe you feel like everybody can change, or you feel like you're just going to accept it and you're going to deal with it no matter the toxic behaviors. You may even be grieving a career or grieving a job, grieving a marriage, whatever the situation is. Narcissism isn't always about your lover or your friend or your mother or a sibling. Sometimes it's your boss, or just someone in your life that has control over you. And so you may just be grieving that, well, I guess this career is just not going to work out for me. So, you might just be grieving that your job is not really what you thought it was going to be, or that your marriage is not what you thought it was going to be. Some of these rinse and repeat cycles are guilt, shame, fear. But the best thing that they can do, the narcissist, is not be in denial. Once they finally figure out that they have a problem, the first step is denial. They have to overcome denial. Justifying their behavior is only going to set them up to go through the cycle again. All right, so regurgitating the past problems, rinse, repeat. So say somebody goes to rehab, they get out, and they just start back over. It's just that rinse, repeat cycle over and over and over. And that fits pretty perfectly with this card. Just woke up from a bad dream, hopelessness, severe depression, torment, and this is the 9 of Swords. If you'd like to look that up further, there's probably 14 paragraphs about that card on the reverse. But that's just in general, quick little bit of information about it. So that's in your immediate future, so be prepared for that. That's some options that you may not have thought of before. Maybe it's time to change your mentality. All right, so for your final outcome, like I said, we've got the 9 of Pentacles, and this one's all about restraint, poise, grace, but basically just a happy life. And the only thing that's really missing from your life at this point is, if you had the 10 of Pentacles, then you would be 100% independent. You wouldn't have any dependence. But because it's only the 9, you still are somewhat, you're at like you're attaining what you want, you're bringing things into fruition, but you haven't quite got all of your goals just yet. All right, so then for your final outcome, you've got the analytic narcissist. I didn't actually do any research on this card. I'm going to have to go back and do some more research for the analytic narcissist. But this is somebody who overanalyzes everything, which I am very analytical. I believe in double checking whatever I'm saying and making sure that it's correct. So I'm not going to say a whole lot about this. But if you find someone who, no matter what you tell them, they have to double check it, it's not a bad thing. It's always good to know what what it is that you're talking about. You don't want to be blurting out lies and things of that nature, but it can get quite annoying if it's a constant thing. All right, so for the Fool card reversed, we're gonna have to pull some cards for I actually have a whole deck that is the amendments or your rights, and I think this is it right here. That does not go there. Okay, so basically most people that I've read the Fool card for have ended up in some kind of trouble, like with the law or with a lawsuit or something of that nature. So I've made this deck full of laws, and it's basically to give you the heads up. If you're not knowledgeable, it can definitely cost you, okay? Alright, so what's crossing you is voting. The amendment number 17 is the right to vote, and which could be very true right now, definitely. Alright, so let's move on to amendment number 18, which is based on your recent past. This is right underneath the Fool card and underneath the control issues card. Prohibition, no alcohol. Okay, so even though this is prohibition for alcohol, there's a lot of things that were prohibited in 2020 that people just were not having it, you know, such as wearing a mask or, you know, any kind of, like the bars all closed and everything. Like, people get really bent out of shape about that, but it was for our own protection. And some of us really had to change our lifestyle to survive all that. All right. And for your immediate future, this is the really, really rough one. This is a really rough immediate future, but this is the one about hopelessness and then radical acceptance. And it says, ladies can vote. All right. So that was the 19th Amendment, is when it was legalized for ladies to vote. Okay, and your final outcome is the presidential line of succession. So this was like literally right after JFK was assassinated, and they really didn't have any laws in place as to what's going to happen now, who's going to become the president now. And so they had to put in there a clause about who is going to become president if the president that's in office can no longer finish out their term. Amendment 25. We heard about that a lot in the news lately, which is very strange because I didn't make this deck. I made this deck about 2 weeks before all that went down, so it's very strange. But mainly I just did this so that we will be more knowledgeable and we won't catch ourselves off guard. You know, but these do line up pretty good with what society has been dragging us through lately, with all the voting and the Republicans and the Democrats fighting it out. I am nor a Republican nor a Democrat. I highly believe that we should follow our conscience and where that guides us, regardless of whatever affiliation you may have. And that is regardless of religion, whatever you're affiliated with. You know, you should always follow your heart because it's not going to lie to you. All right. So, let's go with some positive cards, okay? So for your last section, because this is kind of a really rough reading right here, let's go ahead and take a look and see what your oracle reading is going to be. So, all right, good deal. So ending of a long project. So whatever it is that you've been working on forever, ever, it's coming to an end. Serendipity, which is basically synchronicity or luck. You know, you might just fall right into some type of good situation. And for clarity, it looks like you might have gained some clarity since 2021. That's wonderful. And this one I've been getting an awful lot lately. Plan your escape. Vacation. YOLO. You only live once. So I highly recommend that you do get out of the house, because you definitely don't want to stay at home so much that you become a little loco, okay? So when you start to feel like every little noise and racket is making you crazy, then that's definitely time to plan your escape. But be safe, y'all. Be safe. Try to stay away from large crowds and things of that nature. You can go on a nature walk, or, you know, anything of that nature would still be qualifying as getting out of the house and get yourself some fresh air. So, you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and be sure to come back and see me next week.